Oh, yeah. The Tripotos Arch. Look at that. This is Amphalokia. I'm catching a bus over there in like 30 minutes. Looks like we got a local market going on.
Elas falam, os filhos da Gaba aí, nesse campo. Agora este doime. Hello
man, how's it going?
I'm okay, and you?
Pretty good, pretty good. What you selling here?
I'm selling a lot of things. Yeah.
I see like various types of things. Potato peeler and screwdrivers,
yes, I love
scissors. So it has been a day of screw-ups and snafus and all kinds of stuff so far. I will explain in detail the whole story of why I'm here and where I'm going later. But the reason that last clip cut out all of a sudden is because my SD card was full, and so it just stopped. So I got some more room on the card, deleted some videos there. I'm going to walk back through the market and show the rest of it, because it was a interesting scene here in, oh man, now I'm forgetting. Amphalokia is where I am, and I'm catching a bus heading that direction in 25 minutes, so just got enough time to catch a bit more of this authentic local Greek market. This will be heading back towards the bus station, not much of a station. Little bus office in a convenience store where I was having the spanakopita.
Hello.
Yasu, what did you say? Almonds. Just a little bit. A few. Yeah. Oh, it's good. Eparisopoli. There you go. 2 kilos, €5. For cherries?
Yes.
Good price. All right, let's try these almonds. I'm back to the place where I was talking to the other guy.
Okay, my friend.
Hello, man. Have a good one. Yep. Tastes like almonds. All right, here's the end of it. My bus is coming soon. Don't want to miss it. There are not many buses leaving Amphilochia. The adventure will continue trying to get to another island. Still a ways away. All right, more later. This is Paxi, or Paxos, a small little island near Corfu. I'm walking to Gaios, the main town. I'm gonna keep on walking and not do any talking because it is a hot day, it is a hill, it is a kilometer or so. I will explain more about the whole story here sometime later. This is looking like a very, very nice island though. Hey guys, so I'm here on Paxi Island, or Paxos. Amazing day on a really cool island that I'm just starting to explore. I didn't rent a motorbike yet. I will do that in the coming days because even though it is a fairly small island, it is still too big to really explore by walking for the whole thing. However, I am exploring by walking just a little ways that turned out to be a longer and more intense and interesting hike than I had anticipated. So around the corner up here is supposed to be something really amazing. I will explain more about what's going on here in a second and then get to telling the story of my travels getting here. But first thing, let's see if I went the right way and have found what I'm looking for. All right, I don't know yet, but I have high expectations of something cool. Let's see. Okay, well, a nice view so far, but wow, that is phenomenal. However, I'm not actually seeing what I was expecting to see yet. That might be it right there, and got to get a different view, but that water is looking so beautiful. That looks like a really ultimate swimming spot right there. If you could get onto that shelf and then be able to dive into the water and sunbathe and stuff. Oh, yeah. The Tripotos Arch. Look at that. That is amazing. I don't think I'm going to be able to get over there. It looks ultra steep unless you were to scramble down on the other side and then swim or something like that. But it looks like you can at least walk across the top. Let's see if that is actually safe. I know that people get a little concerned with the cliffs, but I am always, you know, being as safe as I possibly can. And I don't like to take unnecessary risks. I mean, this is, you know, a cliff here, but it's not just gonna collapse all of a sudden or wind just sweep me over or whatever. So just gotta use your common sense. All right, so here you can walk across it. It is actually perfectly safe and wide here. Just gotta stay away from that edge. The wind is blowing. Wow. So the way that I found out about this is I looked on Google Maps at where I was and just kind of zoomed in and kind of just, you know, scrolled around a little bit and was like, Tripoti's Arch, okay? And then searched for the image and saw it. And that was it. Like 15 minutes later, I was out the door hiking over here. Whoa. So freaking cool. All right, so is this? No, not a sheer drop at least. So I can stand up here. Yeah. Greek mainland. And I guess that is Antipaxos, a smaller island just south of Paxos. All right, going to take a little rest here and then hike back up and tell the story of my travels getting here. Again, that looks like a great spot if you could get there. So about a week ago, I was on the island of Kefalonia, and I was trying to decide my plans from there. My ultimate destination for this trip, the island that I was most interested in seeing, is this one, Paxos. And so I was checking ferries from Kefalonia to Lefkada, the next island north, and there were no ferries. You had to go to the mainland and then I think go by bus or something and then catch another ferry or drive to Lefkada, because you can actually drive. There's a bridge over to it. So I decided to skip Lefkada, at least for now. Maybe I'll go there from here. It sounds really nice. And instead, hop from Kefalonia to Ithaki, and just spend like a day there. And so I did that. And then I had researched the ferry situation. From there, my only choices were to go back to Kefalonia and from there go to Zakynthos, or else go to Astakos on the mainland. And from there were no ferries going anywhere else. But I had looked for buses. The buses were very scarce. It looked like there was one at 4 in the afternoon going inland to a little town called Agrinio, or maybe it was Arginio. And from there, then I figured I would figure things out, get a bus from there up to Igoumenitsa, and from there, catch a ferry here to Paxos. Oh, we got a snake again. Wasn't able to capture it. I just barely saw it. It went under that rock. A smaller one than the big 5 to 6 foot one that I saw on Kefalonia. So anyways, I booked my ferry from Ithaca over to Astakos, and the next morning catch the ferry. It arrives at around I think 1 in the afternoon, and I was kind of hoping that maybe the bus schedule I'd come across was wrong and there would be an earlier bus, but there wasn't. There was one at 4 o'clock, and so I bought a bus ticket for that. Very cheap, I forget exactly, but like less than 10 euros, like 6 euros I think, for the bus ride, and the ferry as well was nice and cheap. And so I hang out there and take a swim. I showed some clips at the beginning. That is where I started the video there. And then I caught the bus to Agrinio, and from there I was hoping that I would be able to get a bus to Igoumenitsa or somewhere maybe along the way, Ionina. But I get to the bus station after like a hour and a half or so bus ride, and so it arrives at like 5:30, and there is nothing, just literally absolutely nothing. And so I plan to stay there for the night. I asked them about the buses in the morning. There's one going at 6:30 to Ionina, a inland town that looks pretty nice, and then there's one at 10:30 direct to Igoumenitsa. And so I decided to take the direct one, be able to sleep in and just get to Igoumenitsa, and then from there get my ferry out here. Ooh, whoa, look at that. A big old scorpion, the same kind that you see on the islands of Hawaii. Trippy. They are venomous. I got stung by one in Hawaii once and it hurt. Not the end of the world, but you want to avoid it. And so I spend the night at a nice apartment that I booked for 45 euros, about 55 bucks. And the next morning, get up, walk to the bus station, arrive, tell him 10:30 bus to Igoumenitsa, and he looks and says, oh, that bus is not going because there is a ferry strike. So the bus is not going because there's a ferry strike. The reason is because the bus is, I think, coming from Athens or maybe Patras or something, and it is going to Corfu. It is going to Igoumenitsa to get on the ferry to go to Corfu. And there is a ferry strike June 16th, and so the ferries are canceled, and because the ferries are canceled, then the bus can't get to Corfu, and so the bus was canceled. And so I ask him, what else is there going in that general direction? The only thing is a bus going at 1 o'clock to, okay, what was the name? Well, it was the place where I walked through the market. Arkham, I forget. I will put it down below. But that is at 1 o'clock. That means waiting around for 3 hours because it's 10 o'clock. I decide to ask a taxi guy about taxis to either Preveza or the other town. Now I'm going to interject here a little something, which is, what is the point of this video? Because usually somebody will say, you know, get to the point, the story's too long or whatever. Now, there isn't really a point. It is just a travel story telling what happened, explaining the details of something that I didn't film, and that you might not get the details exactly anyways in one that I had filmed, some other, you know, things that happened. But I'll say the point anyways, which is that things have a way of working out. That is kind of the point of both this video and really my life story in general has been just a series of, you know, adventures, sometimes bumbling, sometimes knowing a little better where I'm going, what's happening. And yet, of all the crazy, difficult, insane situations that I've gotten myself into, I have always gotten myself out of them as well. And so this is a, you know, not a crazy, crazy story, but some difficult circumstances that I had to deal with. And so I go out of the bus station and ask a taxi guy. He says 100 euros to Preveza, which is like an hour and a half away, or 50 euros to the other town. And I bargain him down to 45 euros for the closer town, and then decide, once I get there, then see if there's a bus so that I can save some money. If not, then I can always just catch another taxi. So I get the taxi ride, 45 euros, about 55 bucks, and he drops me off in that town that I showed, walking through the market. But there was no bus going to Preveza. There was one going to some other little town, let's see, Vonitsa, remember that one, which was just like 15 miles or so from Preveza. I think maybe that bus was actually going to Lefkada, the island. And so I catch the bus to Vonitsa and then get off there, and I'm thinking, this is so close to Preveza. Preveza is a bigger town. It just seemed like there would be a bus going. It is middle of the afternoon. I get there and just nothing at all. There was only the option of a taxi. The reason that things were this, scarce in the transportation department is because of COVID. Apparently July 1st, then Greece basically goes into like full normal, I guess, or at least a more normal situation. And then there will be more buses going to all these places. But for now, then things were just very, very minimal. As I showed in a previous video, then I was able to do this from Agistri Island, ferry, taxi, bus, taxi, ferry, all the way to Zakynthos in one day. But I guess it was a more major route, and so there were more buses going. And so I walk out of the bus station there and find a taxi guy. He speaks good English. The other guy spoke no English. It's a much nicer taxi. He says it's going to be about like 27 euros to Preveza, because there's also a 6 euro toll because you go under the water. So that is, my only option. He's a nice guy, seems perfectly legit. He's actually going to use the meter. And so I get the taxi with him. We're driving along, and then I'm talking with him because he speaks good English and kind of going over the options. He says that there probably isn't much in the bus department going from Preveza to Igoumenitsa, which is straight up the coast at this point, like a little more than an hour or so. And so he calls the bus station and talks to them. He confirms what I had actually found out online myself, which is there are only like 3 buses a week going that route right now. When I'd seen that online, I thought, well, maybe that isn't true because these are 2 substantial towns just an hour away. But yep, 3 buses a week. And so I asked him, well, what is the taxi ride going to be if I just catch it with you all the way there? He says 125 euros. That includes starting from Vonitsa, the entire ride, including the tolls and everything. And so I think about it and I'm just like, you know what? I just want to get there. So let's do it. And so get the ride with him, arrive in Igoumenitsa. But because of the ferry strike, then ferries are not running that day, June 16th. And so I plan to wait until the next day. So I find a hotel, and as I'm checking in, it occurs to me, I wonder how often the ferries run to Paxi. So I ask him, so ferries go like every day to Paxi, right? And he says, no, 3 times a week. And I'm like, oh man, did I just like go to all this trouble to get here? And now I'm gonna have to like wait around in this port town of Igoumenitsa, which isn't very interesting, for another couple of days. But he calls the ferry office and checks. There's one going the next day, fortunately at 11 o'clock in the morning. So I spend the night there, catch the ferry. It all goes as planned from there. Made it, and here I am on lovely Paxi, looking forward to exploring this island much more. There are supposed to be really, really spectacular beaches, amazing clear blue water as you saw there. So I'll be renting a motorbike or a car in the coming days, staying here maybe for like a week or something, catch up with the videos, just kind of chillax and decide my other plans. So there you go. Things don't always go as planned, but they usually work out one way or another. See ya.